All right, welcome everybody. Welcome. Happy Friday, going into a weekend. It's 1 o'clock Eastern time here in Maine. And Ben and I are super excited to have everybody on this webinar this morning. Some of you we see coming back week after week. This is great. We try to change it up a little bit. Of course, answer your questions as you go. So if you think of questions that maybe you saw last time and didn't ask, throw them in the chat. And Ben will keep an eye on the chat. He might answer a few along the way as we go if they're quick answers. And then at the top of the hour, or as we're cutting to the top of the hour, we try to leave some time there for Q&A, and we'll stay on as long as you guys need us to answer questions for you. So today we're on this webinar to learn about dominating local search. So when someone searches for real estate agent near you, you are the dominant agent and you get the phone call. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. And just a quick overview of what we're going to see today. So Ben, the recording is running, right?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, perfect. So today you're going to learn how to generate new business when and get found when a buyer or seller searches for a real estate agent near you or in your town, your area, your county, even your entire state. So we always like to kick off these webinars and just to have people go into the chat, or if I'm doing this live, in the last couple of times we've done it live, I have people pull out their phones and I say on your phone, go ahead and search real estate agent and then in your town. So real estate agent in Bangor, Maine, real estate agent in whatever you want to say, in Charlotte, Virginia, right? Go ahead and Charlotte, North Carolina. Go ahead and search that and see what you come up with. But I'm just curious, while you're doing that, go into the chat and just give us some feedback here. Let us know if you're getting leads that you can attribute directly from Google on a consistent basis and actually closing deals off it. Just go into the chat, and if it's not yet, that's okay. Just put not yet. If you're getting some leads, just put a number about how many you get on a monthly basis, or just type a real quick little message in there. Let's take a look and see, just get a kind of a read of the of our group here, which is growing. We're probably get close to 100 people once we're up and rolling. We're approaching 50 right now. So I'm going to pull up my chat window here and take a look at this, what you guys are putting in the chat, so we can kind of read through it. And let's see what we got here. We got a few none yet. Okay, not yet. No Google leads, not using Google My Business. Okay, Doug, we can change that. You know that. Who else? Anybody else in the chat? Just go ahead and put it into the chat. If it's not yet, that's fine. You got 4 in the last 2 weeks. Randy, very good. Okay, all very small. Yeah, you can't always determine the size, obviously, when they first come in, but the consistency will pay off. But 4 in the just getting rolling in the last couple of weeks is getting off to a decent start. Not using Google yet. We see there from no Google. Just scrolling through. So Carrie, not yet. Can't get verified. We can help you with that. Kathy, not yet. Okay. Nikki Scott, using Zillow for leads. Love to use Google. Yes. We will talk about that. I have a slide that not specific on Zillow, but coming up about the portals, and they're changing their business model. We'll touch on that. Carrie's number 8. Robert Lane is nope. Okay, this is cool. So what's really exciting, whenever Ben and I do these webinars, and we do them at least once a week, and sometimes we do them in person at different events, is that for many of you, if not the majority of you on this call, this may be a completely untapped lead source. And yet we know, and we're going to prove to you and show you how we know, that there's likely hundreds, if not even thousands of transactions closing every year in your markets, in your local markets, your counties, your cities, your states. We know that these deals are coming in and closing off of Google inbound leads. And that's why we're here today, to make sure that you start getting those calls. So we begin these webinars by taking kind of a couple of steps backwards to understand Google's business model. Hope I don't shock anybody here today to let you know that Google is a for-profit enterprise, okay? And they're in this to make money. And they have a really big objective when it comes to local search that they've been building up these last several years, about 4 years or more. They're focusing on this as a major revenue stream for them. And so Google is investing a tremendous amount of energy, resources, money, time into optimizing the local search platforms and that local search experience, because they want to become the most trusted source of finding local business services, and that includes real estate agents. So they want to be the connector to local businesses and their customers and their potential future clients. And when Google sets out to do this, that's why we got to pay attention. They are at this point now in time dominating this local search market and this matchmaker service, if you will, of local experts, professionals, businesses, people like us, real estate agents, with the consumers, specifically our buyers and sellers. So here's our big message today when it comes to Google is if you're not getting found and getting calls from Google, I promise you someone else in your local market is. And we can show you that, right? Some of you can do that search on your phone, like I just suggested a couple of minutes ago, and the names will come up. So on this screen right here, in fact, right next to me, I just did a local search. This is one of our markets. It's the state of Maine. We're searching an entire state of Maine. So you see there's 3 listing there, Christine Kennedy and Real Property Team. Real Property Team is us. That is my team here that I own and operate in Maine along with Ben. And Christine's one of our clients that was not ranking at all anywhere on the front page 3 months ago, even about 2 months ago. And we have put her on the front page to get these phone calls. That's what we're going to show you what to do this afternoon. So let's now just talk a little bit more. Again, remember, we're giving a little bit of background here to really put this into perspective, because a lot of us built our business with a lot of outreach, and some of us still do. I, for one, built my business cold calling. Right, 5.5 years ago, I got a real estate license. Started back then, I was at KW, just calling expired listings. That's all I did for basically for a year, and listed 21 expireds. Thousands of phone calls, follow up, the whole process there, a 3-line dialer using a RedX system. Okay, that right now is still effective. Don't get me wrong, we still do go after expired listings, but it's far less productive than it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even more so 4 or 5 years ago. The reason being is there's a lot more rules and legislation and law against making cold outreaches or outreaches at all by telephone. So some states have completely eliminated the ability for you to even cold call expired listings. New York State has really, I won't say eliminated it, but they restricted it down to the point that it got most agents afraid to make expired listings. Unless you have a specific client, you're calling with a specific house, it's not what it was. We see in Canada, expired listings are not available to you guys. It's totally off the agenda. Other countries as well. And this is a trend that's happening all over the country. And when you violate these, God forbid you violate these laws, these rules, do not call list, the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, lawsuits get filed and lawsuits get settled. And, you know, even EXP, my brokerage here, a while back, settled a $27 million lawsuit in 2022. KW, $40+ million lawsuit. One was just filed against KW in the last, I think about 60 days. Okay, now it generally goes that they say, well, it's not us, it's our agents, but we are there as a contractor of the brokerage. The brokerage always gets sued. They have the big pockets, but needless to say, it's a true shift in how we need to be prospecting right now and generating business. The telephone, as important as it is to our business today, I don't want to diminish its importance of scripting and conversations, but it is becoming to become much less effective, right? And we all get these spam calls, junk calls multiple times a day. Less and less people are answering their phone. So this is a true shift in how we need to be generating new business in the very near future. Okay, it's here today. This is not to take away from people that are doing their sphere or past clients and closed clients. That's still super important, and have as much as you can. But if you're like me and you want to grow a team and you want to have new blood coming in, you've got to find a way to get the phone ringing. So how have we prospected in the past? Okay, how have we prospected in the past? So in the last 5 years, I've engaged in all these activities, and today I coach and train agents all over the country. And these are the things that we kind of hear over and over, and tell me if you can relate to these things. First is this kind of lack of leads. I'll even put in there in quotes, lack of maybe good leads. Most agents or many agents will struggle not having enough potential clients, right? It makes it hard to sustain the business. And so we'll go to these lower performing leads. I'll talk about that in the next slide. But a lack of leads, and where are the leads? Even if you're just getting into the business, where do you start? Sure, you start with your friends and family, but that's still a need that needs to be filled, people to speak to. And then this idea of constant prospecting. That was my life back for most of 2019, my first full year in production. Okay, it was 9 a.m., the clock strikes 9, the headset goes on, you start dialing, I dial to about 11, 11:30, take a few short breaks, get through those phone calls. Today's Monday, kick it off again on Tuesday. In the afternoon is 1 to 2 appointments a day. That's how you take expired listings on a consistent, regular basis. Very few agents really have that desire, if you will, or really want to do that. And I understand that. This idea of always feeling this pressure to be constantly prospecting, even if it's your own sphere, to be constantly calling, even though we all need to do this and stay in good communication, not advocating that you shouldn't do that. You have to do that. But this pressure to always be constantly prospecting can be draining on us, right? It can grind on us. Third thing, market saturation. I hear this a lot when I start working with agents in different parts of the country. They'll say that, oh, so-and-so, Jane, she owns that neighborhood. That's her farm. I can't break into that. She does all the postcards. Her pictures on all the park benches. She's sponsoring all the school events. We're even seeing it on social media right now. As social media, more and more agents get adept at it, and more AI comes out to create social media. Even that is getting flooded in market to market. So yes, it's important that you have a good image out there and you present yourself with the marketing, but market saturation is still a challenge. So this is something that I think I want to kind of just clear out right now, because we are going to talk about generating leads online. This Google Local is online leads, but these are not the online leads you guys are familiar with if you've dealt in the past with PPC, pay per click, or Facebook. These are very different online leads. The typical PPC, Facebook are low converting leads. Okay, those leads will convert at 1%, 2% on average over a 12 to 18 month period. They're what we call top of the funnel leads. You think of a funnel, you're putting stuff in here and out the bottom is coming the deals. These are top of the funnel leads. Very low conversion rates. Very hard to have a consistent long-term follow-up. And what's a necessity now, if anybody is going to be in this space, and we still do some of this, but we now have AI follow-ups, totally different webinar. You guys can join me on the future with that one. But if you're going to be successful with this, you've got to work with a lot more leads, like a lot more leads. And at one point, we were spending about $2,000 a month on pay-per-clicks, and sure, $4 or $5 a lead, but it took a year and a half to convert, and we were trying to push it to a 1 to 2% conversion rate. Very challenging. This thing I touched upon at the very beginning of the webinar, right? When someone posted about doing leads on Zillow, like to get away from it. Well, those portals, Zillow, OpCity, Homes.com, the relocation services that we often get calls from, they are going to have ever increasing referral fees. Now, we don't have enough time to dive into that discussion, but I've been writing about it in my weekly newsletter. If you're not on it, we'll make sure you get on that newsletter list. But these companies see what's coming. They see the writing on the wall. We saw Zillow come out with their non-exclusive 1-week buyer agreement. So you can basically go out and, great, if you work with Zillow, go out and tour, show people homes for free. How does that sound? Okay, but they understand that the money is going to be at closing, because how much is a buyer lead worth today? Think of it from a Zillow perspective, from a Realtor.com, which is also OpCity's perspective. They used to know up until, well, it'll be till it looks like now about mid-August, when the offer of competition goes away. Zillow kind of knew. They're MLS members. Remember, they're brokers. Zillow knew that in Charlotte, North Carolina, the average offer of compensation was 2.5%. They could do that math, right? That's not anything illegal. It's not a collusion. They can do the math. They can see the offering, 2.5%. They know the average price, let's say, is $400,000 in a certain market. They know there's a $10,000 GCI commission there. They can value that lead, and then they can decide, should we sell it a certain number for a certain price, or should we get a percentage of it? Well, that is going to be out the window. Because what is a buyer lead worth right now in an era, in a world where the buyer will negotiate with the buyer's agent and there's no stated offer of compensation? It's unclear. So the referral fees are not going down. I promise you they'll be between 35 and 50%. And they're shifting it now even more towards listings. That's Homes.com's model, is take the money from the listing side. 35, 45, up to 50%. I think it'll get there. Right now, it's about 35%. So this is not going to get any easier. More hands reaching into our pockets for a piece of the deal at closing. All right. So just as one slide, Ben and I are not going to talk about ourselves much at all in this webinar. We want to just let you know that we are there. We are active producing agents in the trenches, running a team, doing closings, managing transactions, just like you guys are. And everything you're going to see today has come about because we built it because we needed it. We needed to grow. And Ben and I like leverage. We like to build things. We have people calling us. And that's what we've built our entire platform, our entire model on. So in 2023, some quick statistics is that our team successfully closed, this is just our team, 40 transactions attributed directly what we're going to show you today, inbound calls from Google local profiles. Now, this is why I want to focus on this one little thing here. These next 3 sentences, listen to these closely. We've achieved a 10% conversion rate from the first call, okay, with an average time of first call to closing of under 100 days, 95 days, and an astounding 13 times ROI, return on investment on our ad spend, which means if we spent $1,000 on Google local services, we expected to earn about $12,000. And indeed, in 23, we spent about $20,000 on Google local services. Gosh, that's a lot of money, Mike. You're right. It was $250,000 of GCI. Well worth the investment. And now we have seen this, if I jump to the right side of this screen, in multiple markets. This slide is actually outdated. It's about 90 days old. We're now in almost over 100 markets with this exact platform and seeing very similar results. For those that stick with it, when this slide was recorded, we had over 5,000 leads in more than 50 markets, about 500 sales, and $5 million in gross commission. We ran numbers most recently on a granular level in March, I'll just mention. And I think, Ben, what was it? There was about 90 accounts, over 600 leads were generated among 90 of our accounts that we monitor. And on the average, it was in the low end of 7 leads per month to a high of 22 or 23, which actually was, we were kind of on the high side of that, but we've been doing it longest. So that's why. So there you go. So we know this works, and we built this because we needed it. Really, really important. This is not theory, and we're not outside the industry kind of looking into you. We're right here with you. Okay. This is just some examples of what we're talking about here and the power of this. So look at these slides from left to right. These are searches done for entire states where we have clients. And here we state of Washington, real estate agent in the search is real estate agent in Washington. That's Washington State. Notice number 1, Aaron Muriello, our client, number 1. Outranking Hellickson team. That's Michael Hellickson's son from Michael Hellickson Club Wealth Coaching. They latched on to Google local services very, very early. His son has done exceptionally well. He's an incredible young real estate agent, trained by his dad, super hardworking. And I know for a fact, a lot of his business comes from local services. And here we are with Aaron. Aaron started probably, I don't know, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, Ben, or less, outranking him in the state of Washington. Just going kind of quickly now across the screen. Real estate agent in Virginia, that's called Kathy, right there, number 1. Okay, real estate agent in Nevada, Lanny Belcher, number 1. That's top of the screen. We've got here North Carolina, Jennifer Boswell, number 1. This next one is New Hampshire, okay, which is our local market. Tiffany Lee, real property team, that's my team. Debbie Yarmo, Team Yarmo, also client, in 3 of the top 4 spots. The next slide over is Ohio, Tracy Taylor. You have Idaho, Jennifer Bonner, and my things around my screen here. And we got Oregon, Debbie Hauer. So all getting number 1 spots in a relatively short amount of time, relatively new accounts. Look at the review counts they have. Not a lot, 9 reviews, 18 reviews. We're going to talk about that. There's no barrier to entry here. That's what I love about this platform. No barrier to entry. Okay. My hope now is that you've kind of got a little bit of interest, or at least somewhat convinced that this is the platform you need to be looking at. So now we're going to start drilling down and really showing you what you need to do to get that number 1 ranking. And I'm going to start with, remember, just echoing back to a few slides ago, I mentioned that Google's a for-profit model. So I hope it doesn't shock anybody. They're in it to make money. Well, their business model is obviously search, local, not necessarily local search, but it's a search engine, right? Search platform. And their business model is based on two things that they essentially kind of rank and gauge everything against. It's their two things that need to look for with every single search. One is relevance. Are my search results relevant to what I'm looking for? That's the first criteria that Google has to satisfy to deliver a good search result. Now, think about that for a second, because that seems relatively straightforward, and it is for real estate agents. If I were to search real estate agent in Maine, Google knows what I'm looking for. I've told it, fairly easy for it to give relevant results. But what if I were just to search real estate in Maine? Does Google know what I'm looking for? Well, not really, right? Am I looking for an agent? Am I a buyer? Am I a seller? Am I an investor? Am I just looking for research on statistics? It doesn't know. Now, it'll try to deliver results. It always gives results. Google never says it doesn't, it never says it does not know. Now, it knows a lot about you, and we'll see where this comes into play on a couple of slides. And based upon your most recent search activity, it may know you're looking for a real estate agent and give you that results, but it may not with that general search. So relevancy is something Google is always trying to fine tune and dial in. The more relevant results, the more happy the the searcher is, right? The better experience they've given. Experience is the second thing. This one is going to be, I think, the one that's most surprising to all of you on the call, if you haven't heard me speak about it before. But Google wants to know, and they want to track your experience. And they want to answer this question. Did I, the one who searched, have a positive experience when I acted upon the results by contacting the recommended service provider? So when I search for real estate agent in Maine and I see Ben's picture and I call Ben, right? Did Ben answer the phone? Was the phone answered professionally? Did Ben answer my questions? Did I go do a deal with him? Did I close with him? And did I give him a 5-star review? There's multiple touch points throughout the transaction. We're going to go through those that affect the experience. And Google always wants to deliver the most positive experience. And if they have a particular account that, according to their standards, is not delivering the experience, they will de-rank you and delist you. And it could be no fault of your own. I'll make that really clear. Not so you're giving a negative experience. It's just comparatively speaking, others are giving more what Google wants. So understand these two things. Then you can start optimizing your platform, optimizing your Google to really get ranked. So this is why most people don't even know this exists. So glad you guys are here. All right, now we're getting a little more granular. We're going to kind of nuts and bolts and looking at the mechanics of the search, and we're really breaking it down. This is probably one of the most important slides that we're going to look at today together. And I say that because this is one of the most misunderstood slides we're going to talk about, because we have to first, like anytime you go into a new area, new sector, new marketing, whatever it might be, define your terms. So let's define our terms and let's understand what we're looking at. This is a search that Ben did for real estate agents in Worcester, Massachusetts. So across the top, it has AI results. That's the very first thing showing right now. Actually, there's one thing above it that's cut off. It's usually the number of search results in how much time. This search has probably had 5 million results in 0.4 seconds. It's a pretty common answer. Google always shows you that. And keep in mind, they're showing you that not to impress on you, not to impress you with their computing power, but to impress upon you that, hey, there were a lot of results, like 5 million possible results. But these results on page 1 are the ones you want to look at. They're the most relevant and the ones that give you the best experience. It says a lot. It's a subliminal, it's subtle, but it's there. It's on every search results. Go check it for yourself. You'll see it. Now, the first results that are coming up today are the AI results. This is still in beta, but I can't emphasize enough, this will not be beta much longer. This will be search. Search will be all AI result driven. And that's why it's important, because everything we're going to talk to you about today and all the work you're going to do from today forward to build your profiles, because you all are going to do this. Whether you want us to help you or not, you all need to do this in your local markets. Okay, but all the work that you do and put forth is going to feed the AI results. And the better you do at optimizing your platforms, your Google platforms, the more you'll show up in the AI results. So you notice right here on this screen, it's showing Lamakia Realty in Worcester. Well, that's being pulled right from down here, under the word businesses. That's where it's pulling that from. Okay, it's pulling it right up into the AI results. And these are going to get better and better as they go along to answer contextual questions. So the best way I can kind of give you a demonstration, you can go look for yourself. Go to Amazon and search a product or service, right? Here's a Stanley 3-foot measuring tape, right? You know, I've had it probably for 20 years, but go ahead and search measuring tapes on Amazon. And what you'll find is a product and then thousands of reviews. And right above the review section, it says a summary of the results, and it summarizes it. What most people like about this tape is it's durable, it's well made, it has a good retraction, it locks open, et cetera, et cetera. But people maybe don't like about it so much, or they find most difficult. Maybe it's too small for some fingers, or the key ring wasn't strong enough and it broke, whatever it is. They are reading thousands of reviews and summarizing the themes that run through it, giving you the pluses and the minuses. That's AI search results. That's going to happen in the real estate space. Who's the best real estate agent? Well, they're going to read your stuff and they're going to make determinations of who to show. Okay, that's the AI results. Right now it's in beta. It may not be turned on your search platform. You can turn it on, turn it off yourself. But I want you to know it's there because it's going to affect everything we do from here forward. The results are totally organic in the AI results. As we stand here today, there's no way to influence that with money. You can't pay your way into AI results, but you can get into those results more reliably and predictably with good content creation, like we're going to show you in a few minutes. All right, next section down. Ben will put a blue or a square around it just to emphasize it. There's 3 boxes under where it says sponsored, and there's that arrow coming in from left to right where it says Google Local Services, and there's the blue box. Thank you, Ben. This is Google Local Services. Okay, this is a separate platform from everything else on this screen. I don't want you to be confused. That's why I say this is the most misunderstood page. It's not your fault you don't understand it. Google has changed the name of it many times. And so I want you to, before we leave this slide, to have a clear understanding of what we're talking about. Local service ads, often called GLS, or some people call it Google Verified. These are confusing terms. You'll see why in a minute. Is its own platform, its own login, its own setup, its own budget, its own optimization, its own verification of your license and your insurance. Everything is separate from it. Its own control panel. Okay, you log into it separately from the other platform we're going to talk about today, which is the next section down. And Ben will move that blue square down, and that is the Google Business section, Google Business Profiles. Yeah, so here, now the big blue square is around Google Business Profiles. This is a separate platform for all intents and purposes from Local Services that we just looked at above. It has its own login, its own account creation, its own verification of your business. Now it's more the address and location we're verifying, its own optimization, its own ability to create unique kinds of content. The reviews are distinct from each other as well, although you can move reviews back and forth after the fact. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But for the most part, think of it as a completely separate platform. Now, many of you on this call, it's a good bet, probably have something set up in this section, but you think you have local service ads too. And some of you, it's vice versa. Some of you are not sure what you have. You think you just have Google. Well, you have one or the other. And Google's been pushing it out there. They've changed the names of it. So Google Business Profile, with the big blue boxes right now, used to be 2 platforms. It used to be Google My Business and Google Maps, and you had to get on both of those. So then they combined it. So they've been consolidating it. They may consolidate it further into one big platform. Remains to be seen. A lot of this is still in beta with Google. We're still changing it. Remember, this webinar would not have happened 3.5 years ago. We could not be talking about this. This did not exist for the real estate space, and local service ads have been around less than 5 years. So that's the ecosystem we're working in. 2 distinct platforms. I want you to be clear on that, because that'll clear up a lot of confusion going forward and getting yourself set up. All right. Next slide. Let's go to the blue box. We're going to drill down now. We're going to look at strictly local service ads, GLS. That's that top 3 sections with 3 boxes across the top. Well, why is it stacked right now? This is because it changes all the time. Google is constantly iterating on it and trying new formats. So sometimes it's 3 across, sometimes it's 2 down like it is here. Sometimes it's 3 down. So, but I'm going to break it down for you what this platform is and what the different things mean. So first off, there's always a green check mark. It used to be next to every listing. Now it's across the top, and it has the words Google screened. That's the public facing Google screened. So that green check mark, let's think about that for a second. What does it mean? Well, that's Google lending you credibility. And Google, remember, is the 500-pound gorilla in any room when it comes to search engines. Okay, number 2 is Yahoo, and it's behind that, it's a battle for number 3, 4, and down. Okay, Google is the largest by far. So when Google puts a green check mark next to your name and it says Google screened, they're giving you, let's call it the Google seal of approval, and that carries weight with the consumer. With the consumer, that carries weight. Remember, we're talking about the relevancy of the search. So that emphasizes the relevancy of the search. We've screened them. And we're going to drill this down one more level to see what that means in the next slide. All right. This second line here changes almost every day. 2 on desktop, 2 on mobile. It's been 2 on desktop, 3 on mobile most recently. Sometimes 3 and 3. Sometimes it's 2 and 2. It'll change all the time. Don't worry about it. Don't get confused by it. Sometimes vertical, sometimes horizontal. Phone, it's always obviously vertical because that's for the phone. That's the format. So that'll vary. So what that means is we got to get you in the top 5, certain 10 spots at a minimum to get starting to be ranked and rotated through. 5 will get you up there more often, and we want to get you to secure and hang on to a top spot. We're going to show you that in the coming slides. For this platform, service providers pay per call received from Google. Okay, costs nothing to be shown. You pay per call. You pay when someone clicks call. There's a call button. If I clicked it, if I was on a computer now, I click it, I get a little QR code coming up, but I could scan with my phone and call it. If it's on my phone, on an iPhone or Android, it'll go right to the dialer and it'll dial that number. Okay, you pay per call. In most markets right now, $35 a call. We ran the numbers in March. Most recently, the exact number was $31 and change per call. But does that sound expensive or not? But I want you to think back to my slides a few slides ago. Remember, we close about 10% of them on the first call. So let's assume it's $35 a call, 10 calls, $350. Average sale price in my market, let's say $285, average commission, $7,000. Okay, is it worth $350 to spend to make $7,000? Absolutely, all day long. How many calls do you want? Someone asked me last week, how many calls, what's your budget? How many calls are you taking? I'm like, all of them, as many as I can get for this price, because the margin is so good, right? Sometimes the market, it might float up to $40 or $45 a call. Am I concerned if I pay $450? It's a big increase. It's like a 20%, 20% increase on lead cost. 35 to 45, but 450 to 7,000 GCI is still a great ratio, right? It's still, 11 to 1, still good. So it's a decimal point after the ROI. So we're very blessed in real estate to have a nice spread here, 35, 40, $45 a call, and be able to make commissions $10,000, $12,000 and get a 10% conversion rate. The math works essentially everywhere in the country. Some countries are harder. We'll talk about that. Okay, but there's no problem with
some states are harder. Yeah.
Some states are harder, right? Okay. But I want to bring that point down. It's really, really important to understand this, right? Some services that do Google local services are $35 a call, and it still costs them, it's a $300 job. So it's $35 a call, and the job is $300, like a mobile locksmith, like Ben used to do. So there's no margin. If they don't make money on the first 4, 5, or 6 calls, they're losing money. Does that make sense? All right, so I'm going to make sure I'm sharing my audio, right? How do you do that, Ben? Let's see. Click the share again.
Yeah, hit screen share again.
Okay, there it is right there. Share sound. Cool. So I'm just going to play you. This is a typical call. We're talking about local services. Here's a quick example. I'll play just a few seconds of the call so you hear what a call sounds like of an actual call that became a listing. So let's hit this.
Welcome to calling Real Property Team with EXP Realty. How can I help you?
Hi, I was just calling. I'm selling a property, and I didn't know which area you guys were mainly in. I looked up the Carrabassett Valley kind of area because I was looking for a certain realtor, but you guys had the most reviews. I didn't know how the process works. It's the first house I'm selling, so.
Okay, not a problem. If you like, I can definitely have one of the realtors speak with you.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just grab your
Perfect.
name?
I'm just
please?
going to pause it right there. So you just, those are the types of calls that come in. They're what, Ben calls come list me or come write offers for me. And he'll tell you a little story later on if we have time. But we've had many of these calls, right? We're getting essentially about, I think in the last month, about 25 of them came in. And so that's about 2.5 to 3 transactions that are going to fall out in the next 90 days from these calls. Not a bad gig. But that's typical of these bottom of the funnel, ready to go leads, right? Because here's
Yeah,
the thing, no one is thinking about Googling realtor near me or realtor in Maine if they're bored. They just don't do that, right? They might search it for a hobby or a craft or something they're looking to buy if they're going shopping, but they're not going to search real estate agent in Bangor, Maine, unless they want an agent. They probably have a house to buy or a house to sell. These are people ready to go. They're bottom of the funnel leads. They're as good or better than your Zillow or Portal leads. They've oftentimes seen a house and called an address. All right, so now I'm going to let Ben run through this section of how do you secure a top spot. As Ben goes through this, think to yourself, is he talking more about relevance or experience? Because those are our 2 criteria that Google is always trying to satisfy. And you'll see how, when you do it the right way, you can influence your rankings dramatically by satisfying those 2 criteria.
All right, yeah, I'll add in there from experience and relevance. There's one more aspect as well that Google wants to get paid as well. When Google gives a lead out, they want to make sure that they get their money as well because they're giving you a lead. So that then you see why it's relevant as well. But Google also needs to get paid. If Google's happy, the client's happy, and you're happy, that's what Google wants. They want everybody happy because everybody's happy. Then the service stays alive. People keep using it. There's agents using it. There's consumers using it, and Google makes money. That's the end result. So we'll go through now a couple different areas of maybe a couple of mistakes that agents make or some points and tips on setting up your local service ads account so you can maximize how many leads you get in your given market. So obviously the first one is you need to get verified. And probably most agents on here are not even verified on Google Local Services. You may have Google My Business, right? What Mike spoke about a minute ago, the free version of Google, but this is Local Services, Google Verified. It's a completely different process. So we always say it's kind of getting arrested. If you get arrested, you're gonna know you're arrested, right? Local Services does a background check. They check your insurance. They ask you for your license information, right? You will know for a fact that you've been verified. So if you're not verified, the first thing to do is go and get verified, right? This call is not nearly long enough to talk about how you get verified, but if you go look up Google Local Services,
You're fine.
is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're fine. It was just a little bit
All right.
low. That's all.
Okay, all right. Is that better?
Hmm.
All right, so if you're not verified, go look up Google Local Services and make sure you get verified on Local Services. It's really important. If you're not on there, you're not going to call that's for sure. All right, the first thing you're going to want to check out and make sure you do correctly when you're setting your account up is your service areas. A big mistake agents make, or most businesses make, is they do very small areas. They'll do towns, cities, zip codes, right, or neighborhoods. And the problem with doing those little areas is it leaves major gaps in your map and service area. So if somebody is literally standing outside your service area looking for an agent, they won't see your profile, right? The reason being that if Google gives you a lead outside your area, you don't pay for that lead, right? It's called verified leads. So if I get a lead that's 2 hours away from me and it's not in my service area, I can dispute that and not pay for that lead. So Google is very careful. So if someone's outside your service area, they don't want to rank you. They're ranking somebody else who's going to pay for that lead. So by having all those little gaps, you're missing out on a lot of potential leads that you can get. So my tip here is use counties and capture larger areas you're going to expect you're going to service, right? Large areas. Okay, the next one is services. And this is very similar to the same idea as service areas. You want to capture as much as you can of the service types. Now, for realtors, for us, it's pretty straightforward. You want to have every category on besides for property management and rentals. Everything else you want turned on. In some cases, I'd say turn off other, but by default, I would leave other on and turn off rentals and property management. Now, if you do rentals and you want rental leads, that's fine. You will still get them. You just won't pay for them. But now I've seen agents like turn off foreclosed properties or turn off buyer's agents or first-time home buyers. I don't like first-time home buyers, right? I see people turn those off, right? Now, the problem you turn those off, Google's less likely to rank you for that category, because if somebody looks up, first-time home buyer agent, Google's like, I'm not going to rank Ben Weissman because he won't pay for that lead. I'm going to rank Mike Weissman because he will pay for that lead, right? So even if your account is really good, Google still won't rank you because you don't want that type of lead, right? So they won't give you that type of lead. All right, next two wrap together, right? It's the opening hours and the phone number. And this is actually called a tracking number, they call it. And the reason that Google calls it a tracking number is that phone number there is not our number. That is a number that Google directs all the leads through and forwards to the agents, right? So now that number is tracking how fast you picked up. It records all the conversations, right? And it knows, if you miss phone calls or not, right? One of the biggest issues with real estate agents is it is virtually impossible for us to answer our phone all day, every minute of the day. Almost impossible, right? We're on meetings, we have showings, we're on the phone, we're prospecting, right? There's no way we are answering the phone 24/7, right? When you miss phone calls, Google knows this. And keep in mind about the experience Mike was talking about, right? If a consumer calls a Google verified provider and that person gets a voicemail, the consumer, think about how that experience was for that consumer, right? Not very good, right? So Google immediately is going to kind of kick you in the butt and drop your rankings down, because Google wants to make sure that the experience is good for the consumer, because Google wants that consumer to come back to that service so they can sell you more leads, right? Google wants to get paid. Now, this goes hand in hand with the opening hours, because just like having more service areas and having more services in your profile, having longer opening hours can increase your rankings, right? Because you're willing to take lead at all hours of the day, no matter what time it is. So with just having that on your profile, you can rank higher. But now the trick is, how do you have 24/7 and answer phone calls 24/7? It's almost impossible, right? So we've solved this with a US-based call center, and we're actually now looking into potentially using AI to answer these phone calls. We're not sure yet. We're just diving into it, but it's a potential there that AI can help us solve this issue as well. And we're gonna really dive into that probably over the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to make sure that we never ever miss a phone call and be open 24/7. So if you can't answer your phone 24/7, please do not put that on your profile. Put realistic hours. It's not enough, right? Losing a phone call is worse than having longer hours on your profile. All right, next we have the review section up on top. Now, what Mike said earlier, remember we had all those people ranking on top? If you notice, the people ranking didn't always have a ton of reviews. So one question we get all the time from agents is, oh, what if I'm brand new and I have 0 reviews, or I only have 5 reviews on Google, right? That's okay, right? There's no problem with having a low amount of reviews, right? Reviews is just one of like 30 aspects that Google's looking at, right? They much rather a good agent that gives good experience that's going to pay Google, right? The reviews, right, are a much less issue, and Google knows that they're easy to spoof, right? Reviews, okay, people have a few thousand reviews, have really no advantage over someone who has 5 reviews on this platform. So if you have a low amount of reviews, don't worry. As long as you do everything else correctly, you will still be able to outrank people who have hundreds, if not thousands of reviews. You can outrank them with just 10 or 15 or even just 5. You can outrank them. All right, and the last one is your previous search history, or more like the consumer search history, that buyer, that seller, that person who's looking for the agent, their search history, right? Google is looking at our entire search history and online presence to customize the search page, right, for that person. And everyone does this, right? Facebook does this, YouTube does this, TikTok does this, right? Amazon does it. If you're talking about a certain product in the car next to Alexa, right, you're more likely to see that product pop up on Amazon ad, right, than any other product, right? They know what we're looking for. So Google is doing the exact same thing, and I'll explain to you why, so it makes sense. So for example, if Google knows that I called this business March 11th, right? Now, if Google thinks that I have some kind of preference for that business, if I've spoken to them before, if I was on their website, maybe I let them review 2-3 years ago or something, right? I had some kind of interaction with the Real Property team online. whether on Facebook, website, Instagram, whatever it is, Google seems to, the algorithm thinks I have a preference for the real property team, they're more likely to show me the real property team, right? Reason being, if Google can show me an agent that I'm more likely to call on that first result page, right, then that person is more likely to call using this service, and that agent gets charged the money, right? So it's a win-win for us, for the agent, and for Google, right? The consumer got, right, the client got an awesome experience. Like, oh, I remember Zach, right? Who's the real property team? I spoke to him, 2 months ago. I totally forgot about him. I'm gonna call him up, right? Now Zach got a lead, client was happy, and Google got paid.
Yep, perfect. All right. So now we are going to leave Google Local Services. So those of you that have been at Disney World, this is my analogy I use for this. You're leaving Magic Kingdom, you're exiting the gates, you're getting on the trolley, you're going over to Epcot, right? It's a different park, same, still Disney World, right? Same property, same ownership, but you're completely different. For all practical purposes, you need to have a separate ticket in, separate gates, separate entry. Okay, still owned by Disney World, but separate. Same thing here. That was all local services. We are now going to enter the world of Google Business Profiles. And we're going to go kind of quick through this. I want to be respectful of time, try to wrap up by top of the hour, but let's figure out what's going on here. So local Google Business Profiles is always next to the maps. 3 spots on the maps on mobile, 3 on desktop. Okay, and the important thing here, it's organic results, not paid. Very valuable piece of digital real estate. And you can absolutely now take actions that Ben is going to show in the next slide. Ben will show you, or can tell you what you need to do to get your rankings. Just 7 or 8 things that if you do consistently, you can secure a top spot on the business profiles. So Ben, go ahead. Let's go through this.
Okay. So I'm gonna go through kind of quickly. Again, we don't have a ton of time to go very in depth. So I'll give you the quick overview of what you guys can do on your profiles. Then I highly encourage you to go and either join our Facebook group, and I'll put a link for that in a moment, where we teach more about this, or go and look it up on YouTube, and there's tons of videos about how you can further optimize this platform. And then for some of you who want to join our program, we also teach these things on our coaching calls much more in depth. So the first things first, on Google My Business, unlike local service ads, where we can target entire counties or states or large areas, Google My Business is much more niched down to a specific city market in a much smaller radius, right? So at first with Google My Business profiles, we're not trying to capture a massive area, right? We want clients in our own backyards. We're going after here, and now we can expand that as your profile gets better and stronger. How you rank can expand out further from just your radius, but at first, we're really targeting a very small, narrow area. So the most important thing is to have our location set properly in the right location. And we actually have a location tip that comes up in the future about, I'm going to do something different this time. I'm going to put it in now instead. And when you set up your location, ideally, you want to have a service-based business for an agent. And there's 2 reasons to that. One, that's how Google's guidelines are. Many agents will use their broker's office or virtual office space, especially now with all the EXP, Epic, LPT, the virtual brokerages. They're all using like the virtual offices that aren't their locations. So that's actually against Google's guidelines. Now, many of you have already done it this way. If you have made your account on a virtual office space or the brokerage office, for now, I would leave it, right? But if you're just opening the account up, I would definitely make sure you do a service-based business, and you can't miss it. It's give you 3 options. You want to do service business.
Right, and home address.
Yeah, so yeah, what we're going to do is service business, use our home address. No one's going to see it. Don't worry. It's not going to be public to the, people are going to show up at your doorstep looking for an agent. Although if someone did, knock on my door and ask if I needed a buyer's agent, I wouldn't be so sad. But it would not be public, right? It's going to be hidden from the public. But what it's going to do is it'll show a service area. The other benefit to having a service area is, as agents, we service a large area. We don't service just, a 10-mile radius or just one city, right? We can drive 45 minutes, an hour, even 3 hours if we wanted to. So the service area allows us to capture much more territory. And the benefit of that is when people are looking for realtors near me, if they see an address and you're in one city and they're in the other, they're a lot less likely to call you. But as a service-based business, it'll just say Ben Weissman serves Winslow, serves Portland. Doesn't matter where the town is, it'll say I serve that area without showing the address. So now the customer doesn't know exactly where I am, right? They just know that I'm relevant to them and I service their area. So huge, difference there between service-based and physical location. But again, if you already have it on your brokerage office or virtual office, leave it for now. If you change it, you will be suspended. All right, that's for location. Next is reviews. So the way this is broken down here is in the order of how these things help you rank. So your account is brand new. The most important thing for you to do is get reviews. Now, I don't care about quantity. I don't care if you have 5, 10, 100, or 1,000 reviews. It makes no difference to me when you first get going, right? What I want to see is a consistent flow of high quality reviews. That is more important than having 100 reviews all in one day, right? I want to see a consistent flow of high quality reviews. If you just had your location set properly and got consistent reviews for 3-4 months, that alone will take it down from the bottom 100 and put you in the top 10 very quickly. Consistent reviews. It's the number one most important thing for a Google business profile. Consistent 5-star, good quality reviews. All right. Now the reviews will get you up to those top, top 10, top 15, right, of the map pack. And then what we need after that is actually called interactions, right? So just the same way TikTok and YouTube and Facebook determine what posts and what content to push out to more people, Google is the exact same way. When people interact positively with a business, right, they push that business up in the rankings. So the reviews help us get kind of, visibility a little bit. And then when we make high quality content, and there's actually a spot on Google Business Profile that we can post contents. Not only that, we can actually create products, services, and Q&As in that profile, right? All those things help us create interaction. The more interaction we have, and the more positive interaction we have, the better we rank on Google. So by creating high quality content, that can ultimately, now it may not give you keywords, but it gives you ranking power on Google My Business. Now, people aren't going to be scrolling through these like TikTok or social media, right? They have to first find your profile, click on your name, and then look at your profile and interact with it. That's how you get rankings, through interactions. The last thing we'll talk about is actually called your NAP or citations. That sounds confusing and annoying. It's a topic that's very oversold in SEO nowadays. So I'm going to make it really simple. Very, very simple. An NAP is your name, address, and phone number. A citation, all that means is somebody else, aside from you, mentioned your business, your name, address, or phone number somewhere else on the internet. It could be on Facebook, social media, a website, a blog, or a news outlet. Doesn't matter where it is. If somebody mentions your name, address, and phone number on the internet, that's called a citation. There's a lot of people out there who try to sell you citations. They're usually not so good, right? A citation should come from a local business, right? Maybe your lender, right? So an example of this is if a lender posted a Facebook comment or a Facebook post about Ben Weissman, Realtor, right? He's an amazing agent, right? Give him a call. Here's his number. That's a citation, right? That can actually help me rank on Google. I actually tested this. If you start playing around and looking for Google searches, you will see Facebook posts now ranking on a Google search. Google is reading every single website on the internet, including all those social media platforms. And when people are talking about your business, it's as if they're mentioning you on Facebook. Right? You can track mentions on Facebook and social media. You can go and see who's talking about Doug Ranger, right? We can go and see that. Google is doing the exact same thing. And they use all these citations to know that your business seems to be popular and is relevant to this group of people.
Cool. All right. So this one we already covered, the location tips. So I'm going to go past that slide, but now and answer this big question, right? And we're going to look at some of the most common mistakes we see being made. So again, just kind of keep your learning hats on. We're going to kind of go now and try to fix some of the problems that you're having or point them out where the pitfalls are and answer this question, why so many agents do not succeed with Google, right? We see it all the time. So first off, like Ben mentioned a couple times here, in both platforms, incorrect, poor setup, or not set up at all. Remember, there's 2 platforms you have to set up, local services and Google Business Profiles. They set up separately. If you have one, you have not done the other, and vice versa. Two separate setups, two verifications. This is confusing too, because sometimes local services is called Google Verified, but you verify your business in Google Business Profiles. Different, same word, different platforms being used kind of interchangeably. That's where the confusion comes from. So we're setting up both platforms properly, correctly. Budget strategy has to be set properly in local services. Generally speaking, the higher your budget, the more calls you will get. And in most markets, it will not, in fact, all markets, it will not affect your price per call. So some markets, I jacked my budget up to 5,000 a week, 10,000 a week. I've had clients go even higher than that in other markets in order to get these rankings. Google likes to spend the bigger budgets faster. So if you want to affect your ranking, all things being equal, the higher budget is going to be better. We can look at that kind of with you. There's also you can vary it. There's also maximum price per call. There's some variables that you got to play with. Google keeps changing that, and we keep figuring out what the best strategy is for it. Ben mentioned this, your location setting correctly. Some of you just have zip codes or towns. Okay, I was on a call yesterday with a friend of mine in Long Island. He only had a town. I said, turn it on for the county and see what happens. I think that'll help you. You'll get more calls, even your local market. So I'll report back on that for you next week if I remember to do so. But location set incorrectly, super important. All right, this is a big one when it comes to local services. That's the pay per call. Remember, Google's monitoring the relevancy and experience. This falls squarely on experience. If you have a low answer rate on the phone, and let's face it, a lot of us are going to have low answer rates unavoidably. Like Ben mentioned before, it's very few of an agent has the ability to answer their calls all the time. I think they go out of their mind. Some answer the phones never of the time, which is another problem. But that's probably no one on this call. We won't discuss that. So you have to be able to get out of this, fix this problem. Low answer rates, missed calls, unprofessionally answered. If you have an answering service that happens to be not US based, or they're not particularly skilled at answering the phone, Google listens to the calls, they rank them, they use AI to just kind of score them. If they score it as kind of an unprofessional call, you get deranked. They don't tell you that, but we see it happening. Google never tells you their algorithms. It's always figured out by people like Ben and his team, kind of reverse engineering it. All right, reviews. Ben touched upon this. It's the consistency of the reviews. That's the most important thing. Quality is not the most important. I mean, it's quality and consistency, not quantity, excuse me, right? But consistent quality reviews, not responding to reviews. On each of those platforms, you can respond to the review, thanking your client for the review and kind of reflecting back something that they said. So it's an intelligent, not just a cut and paste, right? It actually has some heart in it, and it's a heartfelt thank you. Not requesting reviews. I mean, as odd as this sounds, we see people just not requesting the reviews. And believe me, we've been busy. I've been there too. Not that many parents, I'm like, we got to request more reviews. That's why we built this system, to automate that process, right? We built a system to automate it so the reviews get requested. You can upload or enter in your prospects. I mean, your closed clients, excuse me, well, it could be prospects or it could be professional connections. Anybody that will give you a 5-star review, you can enter into our system, or you can go out and get it yourself. The wrong kinds of reviews. Okay, there's 3 kinds of reviews. Again, this webinar is running short on time. But one type of review in local services is called a verified review. That's someone that came in through your phone on local services. You took the call, you answered the call, you went out, you saw the property, you listed it, you sold it, and they gave you a 5-star review, let's say 3 months later. And that's a verified review. It uses a link generated from the original call. Most agents never get these. They're worth 10 times or more the value of an unverified review. Remember, reviews are easy to spoof. Those are not easy to spoof. Okay, those are considered 10 or more times the value. For some industries, that's relatively easy, right? If you're a locksmith, mobile locksmith, like Ben was 4 or 5 years ago, when he learned this platform, you get the call, you go out, you open the guy's car, and you ask for the review. Give him your phone right there. It's 2 hours start to finish or less. It's easy to do. Real estate, 90-day, 120 days, 6-month process. You forget where that person came from. You don't know where the link is. You're not getting verified reviews. Most agents don't get verified reviews. That's a problem. Okay, that alone can push you right to the top of your rankings, guaranteed. This other section here, posts and updates. The most important thing, again, consistency. You need to be posting consistently. We recommend 2 to 3 times a week with relevant and kind of SEO optimized posts. They need to be good posts, relevant, meaning to your local market, and real estate. Doesn't have to always be real estate related, but relevant to your local market. It can be broad category real estate related, or it could be specific to your local market real estate stuff. These posts should generate interactions. Remember, they want to bend that Google's looking for sticky profiles. So when someone finds you because you had the right location and good reviews, and then they find you and they click on you and they start clicking through your posts, if they spend some time, if they click out and look at a link that you have going to your website, and then they come back and they read some of your posts, they watch a video, look at pictures, that's them interacting with your profile. It makes your profile kind of sticky. Google knows how much time they spend on your profile and what they looked at. Hey, this guy's generating a lot of interest on his profile. It's kind of sticky. Google will rank you higher, right? Google ranks you higher, all things being the same. You got the reviews, you got the location, you're a stickier profile, more interactive profile. Google wants a good experience for its clients, and that's what we're delivering. And then low quality posts. We just see some that just cut and paste. They're horrible, they're hurting you. Some agents are also going to they're buying mass content, right? Keeping current matters type of content. Theoretically, it's a great company, great service, but if you're copying and pasting and the same content is on your site as on 300 other sites, it's not helping you, it's hurting you. It needs to be original, localized, quality content, okay? That generates interactions. That's what we're looking for. All right, inaccurate or missing listings online. This is another big deficit we see. Ben touched upon it, is your citations. There's about 60 online sites, web portals, search engines, directories, right? Bing, Alexa, Yelp. Ben, what are some of the other ones out there? There's a ton of them.
Yeah, Siri, Alexa, Bing, the big ones. Yeah, I mean, there's I think there's 55 total we can
Right.
pick.
Better-
Exactly 55.
Better Business
Beyond-
Bureau, Chambers of
I
Commerce,
think even Amex has like a local business directory.
right? American
businesses.
Express.
These
Just-
are what we call citations. They're low hanging citations. They're easy, right? So it's a mention of your business, right?
Right.
You guys remember from before? So this creates 55 high quality citations that in turn, you may not get leads from all those platforms, but our focus is really to power up Google with these citations.
Right.
Now, you may get leads from like Siri, Alexa, and like Yelp and those areas, but all the rest are really just to power up Google My Business to rank up higher on that platform.
Mm-hmm. So, and some of you, by the way, have, believe it or not, I've seen it. Some of you have switched brokerages in the last couple of years or last year, and you still have an old profile out there from the previous brokerage hanging around, maybe a lot of them. Okay, that hurts you. That goes against you. So you need to make sure it's all very consistent. All right, so what's the solution? This is the part here we're going to kind of outline very quickly. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. This is probably max 7-8 minutes right here. But how Ben and his team can help you do this? Well, first of all, we can kick it through the entire setup process through both platforms properly, completely, thoroughly, getting you optimized. The correct budget strategy with you, the correct location settings, the ones that will get you the most calls, getting you verified. For some of you, it means getting you out of Google jail. You are in Google jail, we call it, and optimizing the profiles. Again, different optimizations for each platform, but we want to get you on both of these platforms. And remember, everything we're doing here, I was going to touch upon it on the previous slide. Whoops, nope. Well, going backwards here. Where am I going? The posts, updates, just one quick note here. Remember the AI section? This is where it's going to come from. When someone searches for who's the best real estate agent in Winslow, Maine, they're going to look at Google's looking at its own stuff first. So it's going to look at the Google posts and the business posts and use that to deliver the best AI results. So everything we've talked about right now is good for that too. So that's why it's important. All right. So how do we get you through the setup process? That's super important. Most of you even haven't made it through that part yet. All right, 24/7 US-based call center. Like Ben mentioned, we're working on multiple solutions for this right now, but this is something that we needed. I needed my phone calls answered 24/7 to run my team of agents, to keep up my production, keep my lead flow going. I didn't want to miss a call. So we found a call center in Orlando, Florida, and we negotiated an incredible deal with them. Okay, in the beginning, we paid them $300-400 a month. Honestly, we still have that arrangement with them. We were the first in. We'll see later on. Anybody want to take advantage of the call center? $10 a month. It's an unheard of price. It's unbeatable. We haven't seen anybody anywhere in the world be able to give that the level of service. I'll talk about that more later. But the 24/7 call center means no calls goes unanswered. Live, professionally, US based. Overnight, it goes to the UK sometimes, depending on part of the country you're in, but always answer professionally. They filter out the spam, filter out the junk. You don't miss a lead. They ask for the person's name, their email, their phone number, the property they're looking to sell. You get that information, or where they're looking to buy, or the property they want to buy, the MLS ID number. They're trained to get all of that and then live transfer the call. If you can't take the call, take a message. If you take the message, they also will email you the lead, and it'll hit your text message as well too. So 24/7 call. Next thing we're going to make this system takes care of for you is automating the entire review process. Like we talked about, keeping consistent with reviews is one of the hardest things to do. I think anything that has the word consistent in it is kind of hard to do. For those of us that are in these types of businesses where we're wearing so many different hats, consistency is everything. So we've automated the entire process to request reviews. It automates the review. It reminds them to give you the review. It thanks them when they get it. It responds to the reviews with intelligent AI to respond intelligently and thoughtfully to the review. It does it from one dashboard. You can track reviews on multiple platforms, not just on Google from this platform. We built this on an application called Go High Level, which is a state-of-the-art software system. It's kind of an open source platform that developers build on, and we built it on this. It's incredible. It ensures you're getting the correct type of review from each client. So a client that came into local services and closed a deal with you, we make sure you get the verified review and that it gets recorded properly and goes to the correct platform. So you get that 10x effect and nothing falls through the cracks. All right. Google Business Updates and posts. Remember, consistency again, 3 posts a week, right? Do you have time to make 3 posts a week that are relevant, localized, SEO optimized? Okay, probably not. So we've solved that problem with a team of trained VAs that actually go to your zip code. They actually know the market you're in. They go onto your local websites, local town sites, and they Google the market. They have templates that they use, and they adopt them and they localize them. So they make them relevant, interesting content. And you're creating high quality posts. And you also can create your own. We have trainings on that every week. Ben has 3 to 4 live Zoom calls a week on how to create good posts, and they're using AI to create posts together to help people write these posts. Look, the best posts you create were the ones that you write, no doubt. But our VAs can at least get you to baseline, to get you consistent with the kinds of posts that Google likes to see, not the canned off-the-shelf ones. And then you can take the posts that you create, use this platform, and schedule on all your social media profiles. It's a complete scheduling app. Some of you right now have a separate app for this, right? You're using a separate app to schedule social media. This absolutely replaces it. Clients love this. They use it. Some of them have it just for this because it's an incredible value. And you can go to all the major platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, of course, Google, right? You can manage all your social media from here with the social media calendar and schedule the posts and repurpose the posts. Really cool. All right, fixing the inaccurate and missing listings online. So we use a piece of technology called Yext, Y-E-X-T. I'll show you in a second. You can buy it off the shelf, but we include it with our platform. This goes out there and automatically it logs into all these sites. It has direct connections, and it makes sure that you're current with all the sites. So you're on Apple Maps, you're on Waze, you're on the Facebook, you're on Instagram, right? Whatever your name appears in a not so much Instagram, but a directory, right? In a directory, MapQuest, Yelp, Better Business Bureau, different directories. You are going to be linked with those, and from one source, you can make sure your listing is correct everywhere. It gives you all list of them, and you can see if you're correct. Some of you will see that you're not correct, that you still have old listings out there from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago with the wrong information and even the wrong brokerage. So that's really cool. That's included. All right, quick testimonial. 1 minute.
Hi, my name's Julie Moretis. I am a real estate agent and broker in Metro Detroit, Michigan. I've been licensed for about 8 years. I'm with eXp Realty, and I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Ben Wiseman. Since I've been working with Ben, coaching with him monthly, my business has really changed. I went from basically having a hijacked Google account by a third party. I reached out to Ben when I noticed a training that he was doing for us in our virtual world. And I reached out, I said, I need your help. Little did I know how much he would impact my business. Not only did I rescue my account, he taught me everything there is to know about Google My Business, Google Local Service Ads. Now we're working on high level stuff such as blogging, and he's always on the forefront of what's going on with Google. And I can't say enough good things, and I'm so grateful for having met him. Thank you, Ben.
Cool. Thank you, Julie. There you go. So let's just tally this up. This is essentially what it would cost you to go out and get this stuff kind of separately, independently. I know it. I've lived it. We've had these expenses ourselves, but we've seen people at a lot of the the big exhibitions, the big events, selling Google Local Setup and Google Business Profile Setup for well over $1,000, to get you set up. That's the setup process. The US-based call center was costing over $300 a month when we were running it, and that's what it would cost you with what we've negotiated. It's included. You'll see in this for about $10. But $300 a month right there. The entire review process, there are platforms that do this, that automate your reviews. Generally, they're about $200 for all the capabilities that is built into this platform. The done for you business updates actually make the posts for you 3 times a week. I put a price of $250 on it a month. I've not seen anybody else that does the quality even coming close to that. I think that's still well under the price, but I've just had to use a number. Inaccurate and missing listings online. The Yext plugin on its own does cost about $100 a month, $97 or about $1,000 a year. We include that with the package. That's a total of, it sounds like, $843 a month or $1,200. $843 a month plus $1,200 setup is what this would run you kind of retail. What we've put together, I should say, and Ben has done for you guys, is to do the complete system, everything you've just seen, to manage everything we talked about. No setup fee, that's waived, usually $350. There's a lot of setup involved. Believe me, it takes time with Ben and his team to work with you one-on-one to get it set up. That's waived. And then going forward, we have a $250 a month from the first month with no contract, no obligations, right? And even a 90-day money-back guarantee on that. The only outside charge of that is we've negotiated a rate with this call center. They're called Reception 24/7, $9.99 a month. And you pay $1.09 a minute as you're using calls, and you're paying as you go. So for most of you, that if you're going to have maybe 30 calls a week, that's like $30 of call center time for professionally answered live transfers. And like Ben said, we're working on a platform right now where AI generated voice, it's almost indistinguishable from a live person. It's uncannily good. We haven't rolled it out yet. We're kind of in the beta with it. But until then, this is the platform we've used for almost 4 years now, and well over 100 people are using it with us based on this incredible offer and this price point. And it's for sure unbeatable. And all that, a 90-day money-back guarantee. So here's the thing. Ben and I are agents. I run the team. Everything we've built for ourselves, so we know it works, and we keep iterating it so it keeps working better, and we share that with you. Okay, we didn't kind of look at real estate and say, oh, there's a good market for us to kind of go after. That's not how this came about. So everything you're seeing here, we've lived through and we created for ourselves. And when it came to pricing it, honestly, we wanted to say, what would be basically the lowest possible cost we could do this for? Still stay profitable, because obviously it's a business model, but make it such that it was almost a no-brainer for an agent. If they were going to spend $250 a month, which is about $3,000 a year, how many closings does it take to pull back $3,000 a year in your market? If we just got you one deal in the first 90 days, most of you would have paid for it 3 times over or more for the entire year. That was our objective, and we've been very successful with that and very blessed, with that right now, with Ben and his team. So with that being said, that's the offer we've got. Ben, you can answer questions from me here. We'll stay on for Q&A. Went a
I
little
put a link in the chat for
Yep.
either you can sign up directly or the 15-minute Zoom link. If you
Yep.
guys aren't so sure, you want to ask a question before you sign up, you can book the call with me for 15 minutes. I'm happy to get on and kind of give you one last answer any questions or concerns you guys have before you guys get started. So
Yep.
by all means, I'll put it again in the chat there for you guys. That's the place for me to call and the book link right there.
Right.
I will have to run out in a minute to grab my daughter. Her school bus will be pulling up here in a minute to
Okay,
drop
but I
off.
can
My wife's
stand.
not home, so I have to run down and grab my daughter for a second. But
So is
I'll be right
QR
here.
code is there a QR code? Let's
yep,
see.
there is a QR code and it should
So
be
if you want a
working.
QR code, you want to shoot that, that's fine. So any questions? Like, so now it's this time I'm here for you guys. I have a kind of open schedule for the rest of the afternoon for at least the next half hour. So if you want to ask questions, Ben will have to leave. I can stay on. It could be certainly Google related or anything else you're doing, lead generation and marketing. I'm happy to help in any way I possibly can. So feel free to ask away. You can unmic. We get out everybody in the chat, Ben. We look at all the questions in the chat. Yeah,
Hey,
you
Mike.
can yeah. Yep, go ahead.
So how long is it gonna take you guys to set up local services ad? Google My Business is set up. I'm working right now collecting some of my reviews that I didn't collect for my Google My Business prior.
Yeah,
So I've
right.
got like 4, I think, or 5 right now.
Yeah.
But how long from start to finish, so it's actually calls start coming in,
Mhm.
it's gonna take you guys to work on this?
It varies in market to market.
Mhm.
For local services, if your account is not locked up and not frozen, then typically you can get verified in it's sometimes about 2-week process to get all the verifications. Sometimes less. Ben can answer that more specifically. You're also in Maine?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So it probably takes, what is it taking in Maine, Ben? Is it 2 weeks? A little less. For
Yeah, about 2
verifications.
weeks usually.
So about 2 weeks they verify you. And then it's just, it's a matter of where you're going to rank and where you're going to get the calls from, right? It depends on how well you're willing to engage in the work to do it. It's not automatic, right? I mean,
So
we're putting in, we're making it as automatic as possible, right? But it still requires input from the agent.
yeah, sure. No, totally understandable.
Sure.
So you would say probably a month from the start to finish after. So I know about verification, we're talking about local services verification, not Google My Business page, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you can do this. I mean, like I said, there's nothing stopping you from doing it on your own. We have about 100 clients. We probably taught 400, 500 agents to do this. Most of them are at EXP because I travel around and speak for EXP frequently. And when I'm speaking, we don't sell this from the stage. We just teach it like you've seen it. And there's probably 300 or 400 agents that are doing this now that we're not doing it before. So, our platform makes it easier, right? Automates it, and it's trading you time per dollars. There's only so much time you can do. So, it's the same reason I purchase. I have a RedX subscription. I get RedX for $300
Yes.
a month, so I have expires because I don't want to go look
Yeah.
at the numbers and I want to have them organized. So
Yeah,
I
no,
could-
totally. So listen, I
yeah.
have several
Yeah.
subscriptions every month, right? So
Yeah.
another question is, let's say I go with you and I stay subscribed for 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Could I go on my own after that?
Always.
Do I want to continue for a long term? How
It's your
does it work?
choice. It's your choice. It's all, in other words, we're constantly providing the posts, creating the posts.
Mhm.
It's 3 to
So
4
yeah,
calls
I
a
might
week.
see
So-
value in that. I mean, I had posts before that
Yeah.
I paid for my social media accounts before they got hacked.
Yeah, I hear.
So-
But it'd be your call, right? I mean, it would be, it's some people learn it on their own and well enough, and they can manage it themselves, and then you're just fine. Which is
Listen,
also,
I just gonna say to you, I did homework
Yeah.
on Fiverr
yeah,
to hire somebody to set it up, and then
Yeah.
they want to have ongoing optimization
yeah,
and
okay.
management of the
Yeah.
account, and
Yeah.
nobody will do it for less than $200 a month, just for that, just
There
for
you
the
go.
management of the account.
Yeah, and they're on Fiverr, and they don't know real estate. So
Right, exactly.
So everything we're doing here is because we've made the mistakes, we lived the mistakes, and we've lived the success. So it's that's why it's by agents for agents. What can I say? That's the best.
Okay.
Best kind
Well,
of pitch.
perfect. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
working with you guys because
Thanks,
there's a
Tanya.
lot to learn, and I don't want to sit on my hands. So I'm just
Right.
gonna do it, and let's get
Cool.
it done.
Excellent. Thanks, Tony. Looking
Thank you.
forward. Good. So I see Tony has a hand up. Tony and Cindy. Is that your hand up? You have a question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So, do you have a list of what you said it's 250 it's $250 per month. Do you have a list of
Right.
what is included in that? Do you
Yeah.
have something? Do you have a
Yep.
slide that I might have missed or something?
So Ben will send a recording out, and the ending slides will be on there, right? But
Okay.
if I were to pull back let's go back. If I share the screen again, it's a good question. It's probably something we should have. It kind of shows you that we're not particularly we're good agents, and now you're not the best digital marketers. But this is the system right here. So it's so you're managing it through a platform Go High Level that, first of all there's several hours of work, step-by-step courses to work through it.
Okay.
Step one is Tony, you must, or Cindy, right? You must
Yep.
set up your own profiles, right? And we want you to go and do that on your own. We will help you and answer questions, but it's important that you set them up, because a lot of the other firms that do this, and I've seen this, will set up the profiles for you, and they own your profile. They actually hijack it. That's what Julie was talking about on that little testimonial. She used one of these like home something, Snap, home, whatever it might be, and they took her profile over. So we want you to set it up with your information, your emails, your addresses. We give you step by step. There's 3 or 4 live calls a week that if you get stuck, you just hop on one of those with Ben and his assistant. And then once you're set up using step by step, then you're booking a one-on-one call with Ben, who's going through it and helping you optimize it, getting it set up. So, but you must set them up.
Is it a month to month kind of a thing, or are you are you in a contract situation?
No, we don't have any contracts. It's straight
And then
month to month. You control it. You can start it, stop it right from the dashboard, right through the Go High Level dashboard. Yeah,
because we don't have a business page. We just moved to Oklahoma.
Yep.
We don't have a business page here yet, so we need to set it up.
Yep.
And then we call you, is what you're saying.
Well, no, I mean, if you want us to help you get it set up properly from the get-go, you would enroll. The first step is we send you the our step-by-step guide.
Okay.
You get a platform to enroll it with a checklist. And then there's automations. Ben follows up with you. Have you done this? Have you done that? And once you get it set up properly and you've claimed your accounts, both your Google Business and local services, you have both accounts claimed. Even if you're not going to use local service ads, and I suggest you do use them, but if you don't use them, still get your account claimed and set up. You don't have to fund it right away, but get it set up properly, because it takes time. And then once you have them set up, then you're ready to roll. So we help you through that, or I should say Ben and his team help you through that. He's got 2 VAs that work full-time for him to get you set up for that. And then from there, it all kicks in, but you have this platform right away to start using everything. So.
And you're saying that the monthly fee is included as far as posting. It includes your post monthly.
Yep. So what's included with the monthly fee is, let's see right here. Obviously the setup, getting set up properly. Okay, 24/7 call center. That's included, but there's a $10 $9.99 a month direct charge to the call center. That's the best fee we can negotiate with them. I pay about $300 to the call center still as the first client, but we were able to negotiate everybody in on our kind of upfront. So there's no upfront fees other than $10 a month, and then you're just paying as you go. That is a game changer for a lot of people. I have clients that use this, or Ben has clients that use this for their sign calls. They use it like a front desk, because they're professionally answered calls. Again, we may go to an AI-based system or have the option later on to do that, but right now it's a live person answering. So and that setup is included with that monthly. The review process, we automate all that for you. So once this is set up, you literally upload your database, and you bring your database in from any CRM that you have. What CRM do you guys use?
I think it's Wise Agent that Tony uses.
Okay, so from Wise Agent, you either export or you can send it right over. The clients that you want to get reviews from pops right in here, and there's a workflow. It automates review. It sends out a review. It says like, hi, this is Cindy from the Cindy Anderson Group. We'd love to get a 5-star review to help bolster our Google profiles. If I send you a link, would you be willing to give us a 5-star review? If they reply yes, system says, it's an AI. It says, great, here's the link. If they say, sorry, I can't do that, or they don't reply, it doesn't send the link. We want certainty here. We want to ask for 5-star reviews. And then it follows up. thanks. If they didn't review it, it reminds them a couple times, sends them the link again, and then it thanks them once they give the review, and then it answers for it automatically. And so you can load in 100 of them and just drip them out, 10 a day, and just get a consistent flow of reviews. So that's really cool. And it responds. And you're doing that from one platform. You don't have to go to the local service platform or go to the business platform. You can get all the reviews from one platform. I think it connects to like the Facebook reviews and other reviews as well. And then the
Okay.
updates and posts, that's something that's very manual. So that's Ben's VAs going into your local market, looking at your local Chamber of Commerce site. He has a whole list of sites we look at in your local market, and then creating content, pulling events that are happening locally, whether it might be, something the town is having, a 4th of July celebration, and it will make those posts for you. It's done 3 a week or done for you in your platform. You can use those posts anywhere you want. You can push them out to any other platform, and then you can create your own posts. And then Ben has 3 to 4 live trainings a week on more advanced post creation to create better social media posts. And we're always using AI to help us with that. So collectively, the group has a prompt. You all put your prompt in on the chat. You're on ChatGPT. You all customize it. It's pretty cool what you can do. It's still a very customized experience. So that's going all the time. And then of course, getting the listing set up is on there as well. And yeah, all that. So does that answer the question?
So AI is included in that monthly fee too?
Yeah, I mean, which depends which kind of AI you're talking about, but the AI responses, yeah, that's included with there.
Okay.
So that's why it's
Okay.
a really good system, and it's even more capable than that, Cindy. If you want to use it, if you look up Go High Level, as a CRM, we're giving you a free Go High Level account, unlimited. So typically that's $100 a month on its own. We're Go High Level resellers. We don't like push that as a business model. Some people do. They sell just that CRM for $100 a month or more. I use that CRM for a lot of my real estate, and I use it for my my recruiting, my agent attraction purposes. I have it set up for that. You can do exactly the same with your Go High Level as well. So you can use it for a lot more things. It's just a matter of what we support on the Go High Level. We use it for the Google stuff because they were the first CRM and still the only one that really connects well to Google. But the capabilities are like, you can build workflows and follow-ups and automations, and there is AI in there. It can book appointments. I do some demonstrations during the week that show I'm booking 30 to 40 appointments a week now off AI. Not connected to
Okay.
this. But anyway,
So we can just set up a time on the calendar to talk to Ben or to
Yeah.
you, or is that what it is?
It's typically Ben, yeah. Like you said,
Okay.
I help Ben out for doing the webinars. But my role is really running the team, that's the thing, keeping the team going. And, we have a pretty large group now, about 60 agents that in my RevShare organization that we're generating leads for and managing that sort of thing. So, and Ben is now is fully in lead generation. That's what hits his whole thing with this, especially Google. So.
Okay. Thanks for going through that.
Oh, my pleasure. Let me stop the share there. Okay. Cool. Any other questions? 2 people on now, then about 20 people. Happy to answer or stay on as long as you guys need. Let me look over in the chat if anything comes up. Tune into the weekly call. So that's Ben gives you the calendar for that. So Ben, he's got 3 weekly calls and like an extra one. So that's basically 4 a week. They're live.
Yeah, they're Monday, Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Monday is usually a content day. We just go and create content with the group using ChatGPT, AI. Tuesday is a general Google day. We have Thursday is our advanced day. So we'll do anything from advanced Google, blogging, website. It's more people who want to really kind of take it to a step further. So just really advanced things, either advanced technology or advanced Google. And then Friday today at 3 o'clock, we have a Q&A that's really just there to get support. But yeah, 4 times a week right now, you can come onto a live Zoom, and you'll get me live, in front of you. But you can ask me questions. You can learn the class, whatever it is. We're always on.
Yep. So Jeff and Pam, company name. So this platform it's called Going Big. Going Big is Going Big. That's our company name, right, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like goingbig.co is the website. Goingbig.co. So And we're brokered by EXP Realty,
we
but
we built this system and are selling it. It's a spin-off of what we built for our production team in Maine.
right. And we rolled it out to multiple states before with ourselves first. So we've launched it in the Carolinas. We have a team in Florida, so we're launching at multiple places. But we're brokered at EXP. I've been there 3.5 years. So going big. So here, going big.co, right, Ben? Is that the website, the link? Oh, they put com. It's not com. It's going. That was autocorrect. Big.co. There we go. Let's try that one there. So yeah, it's not going big.com. It's going big.co. We couldn't get the .com, unfortunately. Yep, that's it. Going big.co. And you'll see us there.
We cover the whole. Mike's in Richmond, Maine. I'm in Waterville, Maine. But our teams are spread across the entire state, just about.
Yep. Yeah, I'm like in mid-coast, just south of Augusta. Where are you guys? So for those of you who want to see our production team in Maine, LA, okay. There you go. So that's the okay, Lake George, New York. Yep, I know Lake George. That's the place to go for car shows. One of my clients lives in Newburgh. My family's in Augusta. Okay, so I'm Jeff. I'm not who's Jeff or Pam. I'm about 15 minutes south of Augusta. Ben's about 20 minutes north of Augusta. So just either side of Augusta.
Northern Atlanta.
Yep,
So,
that's a good area
yeah,
too.
it's from-
They're all good areas. So yeah, Lake George, New York, the upstate New York, could probably do very well there. Okay, yeah, I don't know, but said it's a pretty big city.
Yeah, we're moving to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, cool. Any other questions that we could or support issues that we could hash out the last few minutes? Ben's gonna take a break. He's got a 3 o'clock support call right after this for those of you that are already in the program. Okay, now you want to hit stop the recording, Benny, I guess, right?